Hey, MJ here. So we're looking at this fruit salad type question, okay? This is a pretty standard sort of algebra type question you're going to see for years and years and years and years. So let's take a look at it. So fruit salad consists of blueberries, raspberries, grapes, cherries. So we have four distinct fruits in this fruit salad, okay? And then we know the total. There's 280 pieces of fruit in total. So it's a mix of the blueberries, raspberries, grapes, and cherries. Obviously, they're all different amounts. And by the time you're done, you got 280 total pieces, okay? And then we've got some more sort of helpful tips here. Twice as many raspberries as blueberries, 3 times as many grapes as cherries, and 4 times as many cherries as raspberries. How many cherries are there in the fruit salad? Okay, so kind of one of these questions where it's like, who is ever going to do this in real life? And the answer is nobody. You're just going to mix your fruit salad and then you're going to sell it or whatever. You're going to eat it. Okay, but the point of this question isn't that it's a realistic question. It's to teach you about what to do when there's multiple unknowns, right? Because when you look at this at first, you're like blueberries, raspberries, grapes, and cherries. Okay, they're all fruit, but they're all different things. So do I need 4 variables? Do I need like an X, a Y, and a Z and a Q or something? Like, is blueberries X and raspberries is Y, et cetera, et cetera? Like, do I need 4 variables? Because I don't know how to do that, right? That's not something I know in grade 6 or 7. And the answer is no, okay? Well, the answer is kind of yes. You can solve it with multiple variables. You can do something called substitution, but that's like for high school, okay? For us, that's the problem, right? For us, we've identified the problem. I've got 4 unknowns. I don't know how to use 4 variables. Like, what can I do now, okay? And the answer is in the second part of the question. Twice as many blueberries as raspberries as blueberries, 3 times, all that sort of 3 times as many, 2 times as many, that stuff is the clue, okay? That's the solution to our problem. The problem is I got 4 unknowns and I don't know how to deal with 4 unknowns. The solution is in that next stuff because I don't have to use 4 variables, 4 unknowns. I can use 1 unknown and I can build off of that unknown to work my way up to find the others, okay? So excuse my terrible writing. It's even worse on the screen than it is in real life. Let's go with like a nice blue here. Okay, so we got blueberries, raspberries, grapes, and cherries, okay? And a total 280. So it's gonna be like, blueberries plus raspberries plus grapes plus cherries equals 280. That's definitely gonna be sort of the end game, right? But now here's the clues, is that there's twice as many raspberries as blueberries, 3 times as many grapes as cherries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we need to pick one of these fruits. Sorry that the light keeps going out. We need to pick one of these fruits to be the unknown, okay? Because we're only gonna use 1 variable, so we need 1 X. I don't want you to miss seeing this beautiful face. So we gotta pick 1, okay? Let's just pick the first one. If we picked raspberries to be our X, let's just put a little X there, then we could work from that, okay? But it's going to be kind of tricky because there are twice as many raspberries as blueberries. So if we make raspberries X, then the blueberries becomes a half X. And I don't really want to deal with fractions and or decimals if I don't have to. So I'd rather not make raspberries X, okay? What if we made blueberries X? So if blueberries became the X, twice as many, well then raspberries becomes 2X because there's twice as many raspberries as blueberries. So blueberries, let's just say there's 10, okay? There's 10 blueberries. Then there's 20 raspberries. So it's double, it's 2X. Okay, so let's stick with that. Let's see what happens. And I'm just sort of like trying it out right now. Maybe later, later I'm gonna make cherries the X or whatever. But let's just keep kind of looking here. 3 times as many grapes as cherries. So whatever cherries ends up being, grapes is gonna be 3 times it. But I don't know what cherries is yet, so let's keep looking. 4 times as many cherries as raspberries. Okay, well, since raspberries is 2X, cherries is going to be 4 times 2X, right? 4 times 2X. Well, that's doable. That just becomes 8X, okay? So 4 times as many cherries is right. So cherries now is 8X. Okay, and raspberries is 2X. We already established it. So blueberries is X. Raspberries is 2X because it was twice as many. Cherries is 8X because it said that there are 4 times as many cherries as raspberries. So that's 4 times the 2X, which gives us the 8X. Now let's go back and look at that one we missed, which was grapes. 3 times as many grapes as cherries. So cherries is 8X. So grapes becomes 3 times that many. So 3 times 8X, right? Probably shouldn't use the X symbol for multiplication to confuse everybody else. Use the brackets instead. That becomes 24x. Okay, so now we've got only one variable, but we've got multiples of it, right? So blueberries is x, raspberries is double that, so it's 2x. Cherries is 4 times the raspberries, so it's 4 times the 2x. That's why it's 8x. And then grapes was 3 times as many as cherries. And since cherries was 8x, 3 times as many 8x is 24x, okay? So now we've actually got everything we need, okay? We can actually solve this problem because we, remember earlier I said it's blueberries plus raspberries plus grapes plus cherries equals 280. So now we've got what all those things are. So blueberries is x, and raspberries was 2x, so x plus 2x. And grapes was 24x. I mean, this also makes sense because, you know, grapes are cheap. So you want to put a lot of them in your fruit salad and not the expensive pieces of fruit, right? The blueberries are very expensive, so it makes sense to have the least of them. So it actually kind of checks out a bit here. And then cherries. And cherries was, what did we say? 8x. Okay, so all that together equals the total 280 fruit salad, right? And now we just do our regular algebra stuff. So step 1, is there any math? Yeah, we can add up all these variables. 8x plus 2x is 3x, plus 24x is 27x, plus another 8x is 35x. Okay, I got to make some more room here. What can I erase down here? So now we've got 35x equals 280. Get out of here. So we got 35x, which is just adding up all those like terms, right? All those x's. 35x equals 280. And now we do our regular algebra steps again. So is there any math? No. Variable on one side, check. We need to make the variable just 1. So we're going to have to divide by 35 here, right? We always divide by the coefficient to get the x alone. And so we're left with a single x, right? And that equals 280 divided by 35 because Thanos rule, right? Whatever you do to one side, do the other. And then 280 divided by 35 is what? Well, it would be 10 if it was 350. Take away 2 more. So is that 8? Am I right? I might double check on a calculator just so I don't mess up the whole video here. I'll check my watch. What is 280 divided by 35?
The answer is 8.
It is 8. Okay. So x is 8. And again, you can use a calculator in the test. Okay. Now am I done? Someone said yes. I could hear them through the interwebs. I'm not, because the question didn't say what is x. It said how many cherries are there in the fruit salad. So I figured out x is 8, but remember x is blueberries. And that's not the question. The question is how many cherries, okay? And the cherries are 8x, so it's 8 times x. 8 times x, and we discovered that x is 8. So we got 8 times 8, so we got 64, okay? So there's 64 cherries. Why? Because we discovered what x was, which was 8. But that's blueberries, which is not what we wanted to know. We wanted to know cherries, which is 8x, so 8 times x, which is 8 times 8, which is 64, okay? And now I would check my work, okay? Is 8 plus 2 times 8 plus 24 times 8 plus 8? Yeah, the answer is yes, okay? So that's how you solve that one, okay? Remember, the problem here was we had 4 unknowns, and we don't know how to deal with 4 variables. The solution was in the next couple sentences there, or just really the next sentence, I guess, was that there were all these clues about how these fruits related to each other, okay? That's what allowed us to only use one variable, which we decided to use x. We tried using raspberries as our x, which we could have, and then all the other ones would relate to raspberries in some way. Blueberries would be half x, etc. But why deal with fractions and decimals if we don't have to? So we decided, or I decided, I guess, to make blueberries my x. Everything else related to that blueberry total, and that's what we ended up with, okay? And also it makes sense. Blueberries are very expensive. Okay, raspberries are pretty expensive. Cherries are, mid, and then grapes are the least expensive. So it does make sense that if you are actually running a business making fruit salad, you want to get, as least of the expensive stuff as possible and more of the cheaper fruit to fill it up. Grapes are pretty good still, so whatever. But there you go. Okay, so that's how you solve a problem like this. That's how you get around multiple unknowns. Okay, you pick one unknown and then you build off of that unknown. Okay, hopefully that video was helpful. Yeah. Deuces. Go McGrady.